All right, we're live. How's everybody doing? All right. Sarah and Brandon here with the harmoniousduo.com, and we're excited to be in front of you today.
Yes.
There's a lot of value that's going to be getting thrown down.
Yes. So you might want to
And
go ahead and bust out a pen and pad because you are going to want to take notes for this.
that's
Or
right.
maybe watch this on replay a couple times to let the value that we're going to share with you really sink in, because it's going to be pretty powerful stuff.
That's right. Everything that you're going to learn today should help you, if applied correctly, should help you increase your email open rates as well as get more visitors to your blog. So before we get into all the good stuff, you know, me and her, Sarah and I, we'd love to share a little bit about us and let you know exactly why blogging is so powerful and why it is that if you can get people to open up your email rates, it's going to end up building your business and taking you to that whole next level. Okay, so me and Sarah actually got started blogging about 18 months ago. And the reason why I got into blogging, we have our own separate reasons, our own whys, you know, but they're so strong and they brought us together that my why was basically to be able to make money wherever I wanted to be in the world and not having to be in front of my client or my customer or whoever it was to make money all the time. Now, I got into real estate when I was about 20 years old. And in order to sell real estate, you have to be in front of your buyer. You have to be. I can't sell real estate in another state because it just doesn't work like that. So for me to be able to do that, it limited me to exactly what I could, who I could reach and what I could do. So I decided that after about 5 years of being unsuccessful in that business, that I needed a change. And when we came across blogging, it actually threw me for a loop because I didn't really understand what it meant or how it could be any kind of profitable business behind that. And yet to basically to my but not to not my dismay, but to my own surprise, thank you. It blew me out of the water because of what it was able to accomplish. I was able to actually get in touch with people who were in different states. We're able to actually contact people and reach out to people who are in different countries now.
Yeah.
And these people, these people are interested in what we have to say and what we have to offer. And it's been amazing to be a part of just the shift in how business is being done now. And now in just making that decision to, you know, do something new, I'm able to provide for my family with my fiance as a partner in business. And we get to stay at home and be the main influence in our daughter's life. And that's the main reason why we started business together, was just to be that main influence and not basically outsource our daughter's time. You know, that was a big part of why we got into business for ourselves. And blogging has been a big reason why we've been able to accomplish a lot of that.
Yeah, for me, when we started this journey about 18 months ago, I was a little bit more naturally inclined towards the blogging aspect of it, because the fact that if you were to put like the two of us together, and if you like knew us, you knew our histories, then you would probably be able to pinpoint which of us was the creative writer. Mainly, you know, because the fact that that's actually what sorry, Mom, if you're on this, but that's actually what I used to do in high school. I used to make money on the side by writing papers for other people. So that was like my thing. And, you know, I was involved in journalism. I'd always kept like, you know, diaries and journals, you know, writing poems and stuff. I think I have like a personal portfolio of over like 70 or 80 poems that I've written over the course of my life and things like that. So that just came very naturally to me. So it wasn't so much of a like surprise to me in terms of what the blog was, you know, what it was for, like the purpose of it. But for me, what was, I guess, my surprise factor was the fact that people could actually blog and make money from it. You know, because when we, it was that was kind of shocking to me. Like, I knew writers, you know, authors could make money submitting articles to like the Huffington Post or, you know, like to big brand news sites. Like, that made sense to me. But people just like, you know, throwing up a blog and being able to make money on their own, like that really threw me for a loop. I'm like, how is that even possible? And so when we started blogging, you know, I was the one who would do a lot of the blogging, like right out of the gate. Like it took a little while for Brandon to feel comfortable doing it. But the reason why I wanted to do it, the reason why I was so excited to start blogging, was because the fact that I saw that this was a tool that I could use to keep a promise that I had made to Savannah before she was even born, which was the fact that I was never going to put her in daycare. You know, I was very adamant about that for a long time before I even had Savannah, before I was even with Brandon, actually, because the fact that I grew up having to watch my mom put all of my younger siblings in daycare, all of my relatives, all of their children go into daycares. I used to teach at daycare, so I know, you know, I know what it's like for the kids at daycare and preschools and things like that. And that's just not something I wanted for Savannah. It was really important to me that I was, that I was a stay-at-home mom for her. And, like he said, so that we could build that influence with her so that she could have a really solid foundation whenever she got older. And of course, the kind of downside with that is that, there's that concept, there's that notion that, okay, well, if you want to be a stay-at-home parent, you have to sacrifice an income. And that was really tough for us. And it did get to a point where we thought, well, at least for me, even though he was adamant it wasn't going to happen, where I was, crying myself to sleep at night, all quiet and huddled up in my covers because I was wondering, oh my gosh, like if things don't get better, am I actually going to have to break my promise? Am I going to have to put my daughter in daycare? And so it seemed as though like right when I started having those thoughts was when blogging presented itself. And here I got to plug into a community, what we did, where we got to see a lot of people who were having the same type of lifestyle that we wanted for our family, which was to spend time together, building a strong family together, as equal partners, and just having the freedom to do what we wanted when we wanted and not have to worry about missing money or making up hours at work or, our daughter having to make up time at school or whatever the case was.
Or worry about getting fired or losing your job or the security of paycheck to paycheck or living day to day, like that, all that stuff is the old us. We used to have to do that. There was a point in time where we would wake up every morning. Like she said, she wasn't the only one that was in pain. I just had a better way of hiding it, I guess, as a man, you just know that that's what you have to do. You can't let them see you weak, right? And so when you go through those things, it builds a strength inside your relationship when you can actually fight through those. Anybody who is working with their partners know that if you can actually work with them and combine forces, that you never have to actually sacrifice an income, that you both can actually do really well if you put things together. And go over there, baby. Go. And sorry, that's our crazy. Yeah. And totally lost my train of thought. But basically it's just it's been a fun journey. Yeah, it's been a very fun journey.
And I think one of the things that we've gotten to enjoy most about this entire journey so far is, like he said, we've been able to grow together. Busted. Is that we've been able to grow together as not just blogging partners or business partners, but we've been able to grow together as fiancés, as parents. We've been able to build a really strong, solid foundation with our daughter, Savannah, that, most other parents miss because they're spending 40 to 60 hours at their work while their child is spending, 8 hours a day in an educational facility. And we don't have to worry about that because we've been able to tap into, this crazy thing called blogging and be able to make money and not only make an income for our business, but be able to literally blog anywhere we want. If we have to travel to Texas to see family, we don't have to worry about missing work because we can
carry our work with us.
Yeah,
laptop,
we get to
iPod,
do
whatever it is.
The blogging anywhere that we want and it not be like so super stressful.
That's right. And so a lot of the troubles that we've encountered in the first couple of years, or in the first year that we've been in business for ourselves, we've been sharing these over the past probably week or so that we started doing these hangouts. And we're going to continue to share these struggles with you because we've been able to overcome every single thing that we're going to share with you.
Yeah.
So getting past that first stage of business, which is, building the list and getting people to understand that you're a real person and building that brand online. Once you get past that, okay, which is something that we've covered in the previous hangouts and something that we'll continue to cover in the future hangouts. But once you get past that hump, the next thing is connecting with your audience and getting your readers and your people on your list to be able to open up and connect with you.
To actually read your stuff.
And if you aren't getting through to them in a way that inspires them or encourages them to open it with the strong calls to actions and the intriguing headlines, if you don't have that going on for your business, you're losing out on a lot of money because there's probably people right now that are on your list that would buy from you if they just thought that what you had to say was worth it. And you probably do. It's just the way that you present that first headline. Is it going to be catchy enough? Is it going to be able to get them, we'll go over a lot of steps right now, but is it going to have all these things in place that are going to get them to open up your email? And when they do open it up, that's going to increase your chance to get any kind of click through to your product or your service so you can then make more money.
Yeah. And so today we wanted to do a couple things. We wanted to share with you some specific tips that we learned from renowned entrepreneur and blogger Neil Patel. And what we're going to share with you, lucky you, okay, we had to pay for this information and it was well worth it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll do it any day of the week.
This was a good $3,000, but
it was for you guys, all it's going to require is just your time and,
hopefully a pen and a pencil.
Hang out.
Yeah,
So
make sure to come back
we're going to share with you the tips.
Take some notes on this.
And then right after that, we're going to do you one better. And we're actually going to share with you a few tools and resources that we use to help us follow these tips and to create those eye-catching, headlines for our blogs, for our blog posts, titles, and for our email subject lines that can help us increase our blog page views and help us increase our email open rates. Because like Brandon said, if you're at the point where you've already began building a list, you've already began building like a reader's base for your blog, but your numbers are still kind of in the toilet, this is going to help you. And you, like he said, make sure that you pay attention. So you want to give him the first tip? Yeah,
the big thing that Neil Patel stresses, and if you guys don't know who Neil Patel is, go to Twitter or to Quick Sprout, whatever it is, and Google him and make sure that you follow this man. He is a genius, and he gives away tons of free value that's going to help your business grow. And so with that being said, I mean, with us seeing him in Lake Las Vegas just a few weeks ago,
I think it was about 6 weeks.
About 6 weeks ago, this is one of the big things. This is his a list of 7 things that's going to help you get your emails opened more, to increase your email open rates. So
through he's done tons of testing on this stuff.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
It's not like he's just throwing out these tips that we're about to share with you, all willy-nilly. He's done massive amounts of testing to make sure that what he shared with us is what actually works. So, if that helps you feel a little bit more comfortable with moving forward with these steps, just know that
he was passionate on stage too. So I believe him.
Yeah, these are definitely time tested, and
plus we're seeing results right now in our business that are increasing the email open rates too. Because before Lake Las Vegas, we'll be honest with you, we were struggling to get above like a 20% email open rate. And so if you can familiarize with that, if you can understand that, how painful that is to only have a fifth of your list opening up your emails. It's gross. It makes you feel gross. On a good day. Yeah. And so we don't want you to feel that. And so take a pen and a paper and take down these 7 lists, starting with the number 1, which is using numbers and negative words to increase your click-throughs. Okay. So in your headline, instead of just having, say, ways to make more money online, or ways to improve your body fat or to lose body fat, to throw a number in front of that, and for it to be well, I guess we'll give it the other one, but for it to be a number in front of that. So you want it to be like a 7 or a 9 or an 11. You don't want like a 1 or 2 or a 3. That's too little. People aren't interested.
People are attracted to value, and they typically associate more value with a higher number. I mean, I know this is like a wild example, but when Brandon and I go out to eat and we look at the menu, he will specifically avoid the items on the menu that cost less, because of the fact that he perceives their value to be less. So he'll avoid them. And so it's kind of the same thing with your blog post titles and your email subject lines. If you can throw in a number, right? If you're sharing like a list of things in your blog post or in your email, then take that number and use that and put that in your title or your subject line, because that's going to help. So that's going to help attract people and let them know, hey, oh wait, there's a number that's got value in it, that's got tips in there. Does that make sense?
And plus, another reason why the numbers work is because people scroll. A lot of people scroll. And so what people do, they don't want to read everything that you have to say. They just want to read the points. If not even the points, they just want to see the headlines to see if they agree with your headlines.
Yeah.
So it really has, a lot of it has nothing to do with the actual content with these numbers. It's being able to get them intrigued enough to open the email. Yeah. Okay, remember that this is the tactics to open the email. It has nothing to do with the content inside. This is specifically just opening that as a headline or as a thing. So
yeah, and the negative words he was talking about would be let's say 11 major mistakes to avoid on your journey to losing weight.
That's better actually than the 11 things that you need to do to succeed.
Yeah, because people. It's
as
sad,
weird as that
but
is.
Let's be honest, we love when we find out that other people are making big mistakes. It's they're like car accidents or train wrecks. We just can't not look at them. And
makes you feel better.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it does. I mean, we as humans, we look at other people and we're like, okay, well, you know what? He's human. I don't feel as bad as about my mistakes because I've seen this guy.
Yeah, because he just made 11.
Yeah, who's an authority, right? Making mistakes. And so
that's why numbers and negative words is the first thing that he suggested as a powerful way to increase your blog page views as well as your email open rates.
That's right. And so the second thing is to keep your headlines under 65 characters long. And it's for why is that so important to keep under 65 characters? And by characters we mean letters and spaces.
Yeah, letters and spaces. And the reason why that's so important and what it's for is because that's geared towards search engines. So what happens is, for anyone who's on this hangout and you're dabbling in SEO, or you're like starting to learn the basics, what happens is search engines, whenever you give your blog post or a piece of content a title, what it does is, if you ever notice when you Google something, that the title, if it's longer than 65 characters, what it'll do is it'll give you a ... It'll cut off your title, like, and then it'll only give you like ... And so it could actually end up harming you, especially if you have a long title and your main keyword, for example, is after
it's now hidden.
the ... because now no one can see that. And so this second tip is mainly geared towards for your blog post titles, but it can be beneficial for using your email subject headlines, because the fact that, like he said, people are scrolling all the time, especially, you know, I mean, like when I look at my emails and stuff, I know I'm like, oh, swipe.
Yeah,
swipe,
you got
swipe.
about 5 words,
yeah,
6
and
words.
If I see like a same thing with my emails, if I see my subject headlines with a ... I'm like, oh, dang it. Like, I don't want to read that. And so that's why it's really important that you do your best to keep your headlines for your blog post titles or your email subject lines at 65 characters or less.
And so, just because we're marketers, and so a lot of people, the psychology behind everything that we do is huge, okay? And so you got to imagine that, just like how she said, when I look at a menu and I perceive things with a lower price to be less value, people will perceive you and having that long title in your email as that ... as, okay, well, if it's a long title, it's got to be a long email.
Yeah.
It's going to be huge. I mean, how could they have a long title without
in a teeny tiny piece of email?
Exactly. So they're just going to skim past it and not even think twice a lot of the time. And so that's why implementing that second rule paired with the first rule is going to be huge. It's going to be huge for you. I mean, those alone will increase your just with those 2 things. And we still have 5 more to go.
Yeah. And tip number 3 is, oh my gosh, I can't stress how important this is. And it's really easy to fall victim to not doing this, you know, because like he said,
soon Google's going to catch on to this.
They're already catching on to it.
Very bad.
Guys. So number 3 is make sure that your headline actually matches your content. That's kind of super important. I know one of the, like he said, you know, it's very psychological, a lot of our marketing behind our emails and our blog posts and things like that. So we attempt to do things a little different to, you know, to try to stir up a different type of reaction in our readers and our audience and stuff. And it can get carried away, right? To where you create this super awesome headline that everyone will read, right? But then they open the email or they open your blog post to read it, and they say that, you know, they see it has nothing to do with what the headline was.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Bait
and that
switch.
Can make people, yes, that can anger a lot of people, because one, they're going to feel like they just got tricked, and no one likes to feel like they just got tricked, especially from someone who they're just getting to know,
That's right.
Maybe, or they're still getting to know through your emails and your blog.
First impressions are key.
And so if you attempt to trick your audience by thinking you can create a super crafty, clever headline that has nothing to do with your content, that's going to backfire on you big time. And Neil's done a lot of testing on this, and so trust him, he knows.
And I think I've never really done it like as a system, but in my beginning stages of doing this, I'll be quite honest and transparent with you guys. I was doing this. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. I'm sitting here talking about, you know, maybe our service or our business and something, and then it's got a headline about how to, you know, be a freedom fighter of the world. You know what I mean? And they're like, what the hell is a freedom? I don't understand how I could save the world, but I need to buy a blog. Like, there's no, it doesn't make any sense.
There's no bridging the title with the content. He would. In fact, that's funny because I totally forgot about that. He would. I would go back and read some of his blog posts, and I tell him, like, the blog post is actually really good. I have no idea what your headline means.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And that's going to lose. That lost all my audience. I mean, I was wondering why my blog at that time was not seeing the results I wanted to see. Why I wasn't getting replies? Why I wasn't getting comments? Why I wasn't getting shares? It was because no one cared. It's because it didn't make any sense. They'd get past the title and they'd be like, ugh, this doesn't make any sense. This isn't what I came here for. Mm-hmm. So just make sure to don't do the bait and switch. Keep your headline relevant to the content.
Yeah.
And number 4. So if you're taking notes, number 4 is odd numbers perform better than even ones. So I didn't want to give that away in the very first one, but when you use numbers, you want to use negative numbers, not just any numbers, not any numbers, negative numbers. Like, so
negative,
odd numbers. I'm sorry. I was looking at negative words. So odd numbers. So if you could get like 101, that's probably like one of the best things.
Neil said that through all the testing he's done, that the ultimate odd number for maximum performance is 101. Now, of course, it's going to require you to do a buttload of work with your blog post.
That's right.
that you'll share in your emails. But it is rather effective. Now, of course, he says the minimum of an odd number would be 7.
That's
okay,
right.
nothing less than 7, because like we mentioned earlier, less than that, people can perceive that as a low value. And, you know, if they see that, they're going to think, okay, well, there's not much for me to read here, so there's no point in me going.
That's
so they
right.
won't even go. And so if you can use odd numbers starting at like 7, you know, 11, 13, 15, and then just going up from there, anywhere between 7 to 101. Right.
Yeah, no reason to go to like 590.
Let's not kill ourselves.
You know, 3.
Okay.
Like that's just...
But through the testing he's done, he has concluded that odd numbers starting at 7, ending at 101 perform better than attempting to share even numbers.
Yeah. So do you want to go and take on number?
Oh, yeah, sure. So for tip number 5, for those of you guys taking notes, is to aim for 6-word headlines. Okay. So this kind of plays into the one we were talking about, 65 characters, but I have noticed you can actually squeeze in 65 characters in 6 words or less, which is actually really cool.
That's right.
But you want to use 6 words or less because the fact that one, I can't talk right now. It compacts what your reader is reading in the initial title as well as in your email subject line. So it kind of incentivizes them to continue reading because it's like, oh, well, wait, I want to know more about that. See, one of the problems that a lot of us have with our blogging and our email that we send out to our subscribers is we try to put like everything in the title to get their attention, right? Because it's like we want to share so much value that they'll have to open the email. But if we give it all away in the title, then they're not going to read anything else.
Ambiguity, if I'm saying that right. Ambiguity. You want to be ambiguous with everything. I mean, you want to be able to be just specific enough to get their attention, but ambiguous enough to keep the curiosity.
Yeah.
So once you can nail that in your headline, then you'll be good. And when we're going over these things, at the end, we'll also explain again that this list of 7, you do not have to hit every single one of these 7. Okay. No. 5 out of 7, according to Neil Patel, is a winning email or a winning headline.
Yeah.
Okay?
Neil has been doing this for a long time, guys. He is, like I said, when we introed him, he is a renowned blogger. This is like the go-to guy that everyone from Amazon to Yahoo to, I think Walmart was even one of them. I can't remember. There's been quite a few big names that go to him because of what he knows with blogging and how to connect, and through all of the research and testing that he's done that can best connect them with their audience. And so, even he says that even he has yet to be able to strike 7 out of 7 on these tips.
That's right.
Which is why,
so don't feel bad.
Yeah. Don't stress yourself out with attempting to go for 7 out of 7 because you'll pull your hair out.
You will.
Aim for 5.
And so moving on to number 6, the very sixth thing is one that we never really had a problem with, but I think it's we see so many people still doing this in ads on Facebook and
especially
even marketing on the highway. Like you go down and you see people who are like working with casinos and Walmart and big places that are using this exact thing. Okay. And so the number 6 thing to avoid is avoiding using words with multiple meanings. So in your headlines, you don't want to use words with multiple meanings. It's going to confuse people and it's going to lead them into basically that whole number 3 rule, which is making your headline match your content. Because they might think one thing, which pulled them in, then your content means something else, even though you had great intentions and it actually makes sense and it's funny and it's, it could have got them pulled in like that, but the content maybe wasn't clear enough. Yeah. Maybe it wasn't specific enough. It was ambiguous enough to get them curious, but it wasn't specific enough to target them.
It was so ambiguous that it led to them perceiving something totally different than what you meant. Like a good example was Neil shared with him that he actually got into a lot of trouble because he created a post not too long ago where he said how a Ferrari made me, what was it, like $1 million? And there was a picture, right? So he has his headline that says how a Ferrari made me $1 million. Which is true, he did make $1 million. And then in the content, he has a picture of him next to a Ferrari. Well, the funny thing is Neil doesn't even drive. He does not have a driver's license. He cannot drive. And the Ferrari was not his. It was a car that he used that was being loaned to him at the time. And I can't remember how that made him $1 million. That's all in the blog post.
It was a blog post that he wrote about that whole experience about being a part of that. There's still a blog post and that blog post generated.
It generated a lot of backlash because so many people.
But a lot of money too. That's how he made the $1 million was from what he sold from that one single. It was like one instance where he ended up.
So many people thought that Neil went and bought a Ferrari and then somehow turn that into $1 million. And so everyone was thinking that he had a Ferrari. So people were actually coming to him and asking, hey, like, let's go, take our Ferraris, right? Because you have one and I have one. Let's go take them out for a ride. And so he would kind of laugh and be like, well, I don't have a Ferrari. I don't even have a driver's license. And a lot of the people who were coming to him specifically because of that blog post were getting angry, he said, because of the fact that they felt tricked. They felt like he used like a very bait and switch tactic by making it appear as though he had purchased a Ferrari that he never purchased. And that's what can happen when you use multiple meanings in your blog post titles or your email subject lines. You can get into a lot of trouble.
And another one is like to be a little more, to help out a little more, to give another example, would be like say you're in the air conditioning business and you're trying to get out to your prospects, right? And you're gonna blog about that, or you're gonna send an email out to your people, and you say maybe it's to even people who are interested in investing into your business or something like that, and you send them out saying how to keep cool in the sun or something like that, and they keep that as, or you send that to your customers and you send how to keep cool in the sun, right? And then you send that with a context saying how to keep cool in the sun because I've been able to make more money in my business than I did before. Now I'm living underneath the shade. Do you get what I'm saying? Like you're using cool, right? How to stay cool as a double meaning. Do you get what I mean? So there's multiple different ways. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So there's so many different things that you could do to use multiple ways of saying the same thing, and it's going to confuse people. So if you ever could look at that and go, oh, that could mean something else, there's a double meaning there.
Yeah. And if you're lucky enough to be doing this, to be blogging, to be using like email autoresponders and stuff like that with a partner like how we are, something else that could help you with avoiding words in multiple meanings is when you think you have like this super awesome headline and you're really pumped to use it, before you actually push publish or before you actually push send out the email, just run it by your partner real quick and say, like, don't let them read the content, just let them read the headline and ask them, what do you think I mean by that?
That's huge. And if she can't, or if they can't give you the response in happy enough for you, for you to take on that.
If they're giving you a face like, then you might want to go back to the drawing board.
That's right. That's right. And so what's the final one? What's the last one?
The final one is including power words and interesting adjectives in your titles for both your blog posts as well as your email subject lines, because those are going to be what really grabs their attention, what really like hits them in the face and is like, whoa, hey, that's cool. I want to read that.
It's intense.
Yeah. So like for interesting adjectives, like fun or amazing, right? For power words. Yeah. For power words, you could use powerful or just something like that. And if you ever feel like you're getting stuck, to be honest with you guys, a lot of what I do to help me with my power words or with interesting adjectives is I actually just go to thesaurus.com. And if I find like a word that I want to use, but I've used that specific word like so many times and I want something a little different, something a little fresh, I'll just type in that word in thesaurus.com and say, give me synonyms. And it gives me like a huge list of things that I can use. That's a huge time saver.
It's a huge resource. Huge resource. I mean, we love it. We love it. And so those are the seven things from Neil Patel that are going to help you increase your email open rates as well as get more people to your blog using basically the power of headlines.
Yeah. And so something that we kind of decided last minute was to share a few of our own resources and tools that we use to help us.
Hopefully it'll help you guys, maybe cut down on that learning curve, being able to, get access to these resources. Because a lot of these, they're not even affiliate resources. We're not making any money on these. They're just basic free tools that we use in our business to help us create content or headlines every single day. Yeah,
these are things that we have found through our 18 months of searching for ourselves. And these are the 5 that have become, like our favorite go-to resources whenever we're feeling stuck with our headlines. So the first one that I want to share with you guys is a website called Inbound Now. The cool thing about Inbound Now is that it's a site that's directly related to giving you SEO friendly titles that you can use for both your blog posts as well as your email subject lines. So if you have a specific keyword, like if your main focus, like with your blogs in particular, is SEO based in strategy, then this is going to be killer for you because it literally says insert keyword here. And it gives you can just keep pushing the refresh button until you find a title that fits your keyword with what you're trying to go for.
That's nice.
And you won't have to worry about, is it SEO'd enough? Because that's exactly what the site was created for, was to create those specific types of titles, which has been really helpful. And then the second one, this one is actually my personal favorite. I love this one. This one's called Portent Content Idea Generator. This one's really cool because the fact that it gives you like the craziest, wackiest titles I think I've ever seen. Now, if you want something that's maybe not totally SEO friendly, you just want a really catchy headline, this is going to be one of your go-to tools. There's one where it talks about how, you know, what you do is you enter your say like blog title or your content idea, like the main points or focus of your blog post, and you can use that as a way to generate, you know, some ideas. And there's some where it talks about how, you know, say you want to learn or you want to share a blog about like how to lose weight, right? And it'll give you things like the ultimate guide to losing weight that that Eric Estrada wished he knew, right? It's just crazy, wacky stuff. And so so if you want something that's a little funky, a little fresh, you know, it'll just give you a smile on your face, this one's going to be for, you know, one of your go-to resources. Another one is called Emotional Marketing Value Headline Analyzer. This one is super powerful because the fact that what it does is you type in the title that you're attempting to use and it rates whether, like, where your title falls on the emotional scale from intellectual, spiritual, or neutral, I believe.
Which is all very powerful, because if you could tap into those things, oh my goodness, you get to know exactly what's going to drive your clients, and you just give them more of it.
Yeah, what it'll do is, you know, like you submit your potential title, it'll give you your grade, and where it says that you want to fall is you want to fall within hitting at least 2 of the 3 emotional
characteristics.
Yeah, thank you. You know, so if you can get like an intellectual and a spiritual, if you can get a spiritual and whatever the third one is, I'm sorry, I'm drawing like a total blank. But if you can get at least 2 out of 3, then you're really good. And what it'll actually do is give you a straight percentage of where you rank. There was one time where I submitted a title, and the funny thing is, I was really craving a Snickers bar, like hardcore. And I was in the middle of creating a blog post title as well as an email subject line. And so I thought, okay, well, I'm craving a Snickers bar. So let's see if I can find something about a Snickers bar. And don't worry, I tied that into the content. So it wasn't like a mismatch or bait and switch or anything like that. I did tie it together. But the funny thing is, the title that I had created for that gave me like a 58.8%, which is huge, because that showed me, based off of the scale that they gave me, that 58.8% of our audience is most likely going to open our email or a blog post because it hits certain spectrums of the emotional scale. And
to go from a 20% that we were dealing with to a 60%, that's a huge deal. And that's why we want to show you these resources today. So.
Yeah. And then one of my final favorite ones is called blog title. Break state again. Blog Title Idea Generator. This one's again another website that you can go to, and you can, same thing, submit your blog post, your theme, or whatever like the major focal point is of your content, or you can submit your keywords, and all you do is you just keep pushing the refresh button until you get a title template that fits whatever it is you're going for, and you just plug in your numbers and your words and you're good to go. And then the cool thing is with that one is that if you find like templates that you're really attracted to, that you want to use on a frequent basis, you just basically click the little heart button and it saves that template for you in a notebook. So you can always like easily reference back that title template. Powerful. Yeah. And then Brandon's actually going to share with you our 5th one, because this is the one that he uses most often.
Yeah. And that is only accessible through our Kalatu blog platform. If you do not have a Kalatu blog, we're going to give you access to that after we get done in about, probably wrap this in about 5-10 minutes or so. We'll go ahead and give you access to that then. But it's only specifically on that Kalatu blog. And what you do is you're able to type in the topic of your blog. So if me personally, I like to write about what we do for business as well as my poker. Okay, I have my own little poker blog that I love to share strategies with and things like that. And if I ever get stuck on a title, all I have to do is type in, say, never go on tilt again, or managing your bankroll, or something like that. The topic of what I'm writing about, and it's going to spit out SEO titles.
Yeah,
it's going to spit out to me optimized titles that will rank easier in Google because of basically the algorithm and the way that they do everything on the back end. It's just basically done for you. So there's nothing to worry about. You type in your topic, it spits you back a fully optimized title. No more thinking involved. Your content's written. You publish it. You're on your way. I love the thing.
And the cool thing about the give me a headline, because that's what the plugin's called, give me a headline, is like he said, it's the fact that it's SEO, it's SEO friendly, and it's not set in stone. So if maybe, you know, because let's be real here, anything technical on the internet experiences a glitch or two. And so sometimes it'll give you a title that might not exactly make sense with where you were going based off of your keywords and how it phrased it. But the cool thing is, all you have to do is once you find a headline that Kalatu gives you that you like the general template, you just select that title, and then you can simply just, you know, switch a couple of things around to where the title makes sense. So it's SEO friendly. Yeah, but it's also, you know, readable in a sense.
Yeah,
which
and that's
really cool.
Why I really like it, is because it does make my job a lot easier when I get stuck on that title, which I know that I didn't realize. One quick tip for you guys that we didn't even have in our notes or anything was that Neil Patel mentioned to us that if you're not spending as much time on your title as you are on your blog post, you're messing up.
Oh, yes. So he was saying that, like, if it takes you 25 minutes to write a blog, it should take you an equal amount of time to come up with a blog post or email subject line title.
That's right, because the keyword research that it takes to go into making sure that your stuff will get ranked, and then being able to do and go through this checklist of 7 things, that takes a little bit of time. And the more descriptive your blog is, and the more in tune you are with your audience, the easier it will become, but still going to be steps that you need to follow. And those steps still do take time, even though it can be simple to do. It will get easier as you get more comfortable. It's still going to be time, it's still going to take time for you to do that. And that's why he makes sure that this is a guy who makes millions of dollars a year blogging, and he's still telling us, put more time, at least the same amount of time into your title as your blog, if not more. Yeah, that's huge. I mean, I didn't know that. Me and Sarah were making
that one
many
actually
mistakes.
Blew us away, because when we would blog, we would literally just throw up a title, and
we would maybe take a portion of our text actually and make that the title.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, why would we do that? Because we didn't know any better. We didn't know what we didn't know.
You don't know.
And then you get in front of this man who's making millions of dollars. He says, hey, look, you know what? What you're doing right there, that's not really working, is it? Tell me how that's working out. Show me your results. Okay, yeah, we'll do this, and then show me your results. And that's just by us going there and listening and being open to his ways of doing things. He has a great way of teaching, and he explains it so well that I hope that we're just doing him justice today, because those list of 7 things, we would love for you guys to get in contact with us right now and let us know, hey, look, you know what? My results right now, I'm working at a 20% email open rate, or a 15%, or a 2%, or you know what? I don't even have a list, but I'm going to start building one. And then a week from now, I'm going to share my results, whatever it is that you got to do, but start to implement these things. Then come back to us. We would love to hear how you've magnified your results, what you've done after you've implemented this, and the results you've seen, because we get excited about this kind of stuff. We want to see you succeed, and we want to be able to share our success with you guys, just like we're doing right now, because without learning these 7 things from Neil Patel, we would still be in a rut. We'd still be looking at our email open rates like, what did we do wrong? We have great content. We have great everything that we want to do, as we feel, and it just wasn't working out. And so if you've been in any of those boats, so if you're experiencing these problems, problems of just
no one's opening your emails, no one's reading your blog posts, no matter how much time you spend in promoting or syndicating it, then these will help you. What we shared with you today will help you, so long as you use them on a consistent basis.
That's right.
And so I think, personally, I think the solution that we've found, that we've tapped into, that actually works is tapping into tools and resources like the ones that we shared with you today that can help you do the things that you're attempting to learn, which would be, for this specific hangout, how to increase email open rates, or how to increase blog page views. Say that 5 times fast.
That's right.
And so one of the ways that you can do that is by tapping into the tools and resources we shared, using these tips that we've given you from Neil Patel himself, right? And then just going with our recommendations and giving it a test period for yourself. And, if for whatever reason you're finding that what we've shared with you maybe wasn't your cup of tea, then come back and share with us what you used that maybe you felt we should have shared.
And if you take a look over here to the right, or your left, on
the screen,
you'll see that there's three highlights right now. And the first one that we wanted to share with you was our blog that we wrote that was geared towards this whole hangout. Was the whole reason why we made this for you, was because, there's a lot of people who are stuck right now with a list that would buy from them if they only would open their emails. And so what we did is we took the blog post that we wrote about this meeting with Neil Patel, And we made a hangout about it. And that blog post is right over here for free access to you to take a look at. Take a look around our website.
That one's gonna have that one's actually gonna list out all of the resources that we mentioned in today's hangout. So if there was one that maybe you missed, or maybe you would like a reference to where you can find it, you're going to find all of that in that blog post.
That's right. And then right underneath that one, you're going to see your shot, a button to gain access to the Kalatu blog that I was mentioning earlier. The only Kalatu blog or the only kind of blog right now that's on the internet that's going to be ready for you, set up like basically a business in a box, just ready for you to be going, the plugins installed. There's nothing that you have to worry about, SEO friendly, and it has that title search for you.
Give me a headline.
Give me a headline. I mean, there's no thinking about it. You write your stuff, you plug in your topic, and then spits it right out. I mean, that alone is worth a lot of headache saving. Okay, and so for you to gain access to that, just click the button, follow through. Not only are you going to gain access to that, but you're going to gain access to us as well, along with some training videos to help you get started fast to get your blogs ranked on Google, and to get you just started to get your audience started just view your page a lot more. That's it,
Yeah.
And then go ahead.
Oh, and I was just gonna say, the final thing that you'll see over there will be for those of you who maybe you have a blog, but you don't have a way to stay in touch with your subscribers, or you're building a list, but for some whatever wacky reason you don't have an email autoresponder,
which would make things very difficult
a little bit. So we just decided that just to cover our bases, we are sharing a link to the very same autoresponder that we use now. Of course,
and we've been through 2 or 3 different autoresponding companies that have not done what they said they were going to do, and have been they've been a hassle to get rid of too, because I mean, like every time you switch your list and you go to somewhere else, you're losing people. You have to have them opt into a new place. It's a headache for not only you, but for your entire list. And the bigger the list, the bigger the headache. Yeah. So if you're starting fresh right now and you don't have an autoresponder, we're sharing with you. Click the link or the button, whatever it is right there. It's going to take you to a site that is going to be able to share with you and walk you through all the steps and stuff. We're not like going to. I mean, I think we might have a training video with that from the team on how to set up your autoresponder. Do we have one of those?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so once you go ahead and you take advantage of the Kalatu blog, you get in touch with us. We're going to be waiting for you. Then we can go ahead and send you all that information that we give to our team. Because if you want to go at this on your own, feel free. We wish you the best of luck. We, though, encourage people to work together as a team, and that's what we've been able to do. And that's why the Kalatu blog is so important, because it brings you together with a community of people that do want to see you succeed. So it's not like you're going through this on your own. No. And so if you get that Kalatu blog, you gain access to that, then you go ahead and you get the autoresponder, you're on your way to some serious success, because now you can actually stay in touch with the audience that's opting in to your blog. Mm-hmm. They want to be in front of you. They want to hear what you have to say, and they want to be there the moment that it gets published.
Yeah, because that's one of the cool things about having the email autoresponder is that the second that you create a blog, you can go ahead and immediately email your list, hey, I just wrote an awesome blog post about a topic that you've been mentioning that's been a challenge for you. Here it is. Enjoy. Tell me what you think. Boom. And they get to have,
right there.
It makes them feel a little exclusive, because it kind of makes them feel as though they got first dibs on your blog before anybody else.
And they did. And they really did. And they should, because the fact that they took time to give you their information to join your list. Mm-hmm. So give them something in return. You know what I mean? And so now that we've been through everything, you learned a little bit about Sara and I. You learned the 7 steps from Neil Patel himself on how to increase your email open rates or bring more visitors to your blog, as well as the tools and resources that Sara and I use in our business to see the success that we're seeing right now. Now, the only thing left to do is to make the decision to gain access to the Kalatu blog, purchase your autoresponder,
and get started,
and get building that list and start blogging. So if you found any value today, we'd love to hear back from you, and we look forward to seeing you on the next Hangout, guys.
We'll be back tomorrow.
Take care, everybody.